Hello, it is Wednesday, September 14th, 2022. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It is a Wednesday puzzle today, so maybe just a little bit of a step up in difficulty from Monday and Tuesday, and a themed puzzle. Still, of course, we're in the main themed part of the week, and this bit of a step up, perhaps, has been brought to us by Alex, Laura Sexton, and, as always, the inestimable Hood Monster, the invaluable Timothy Mark, and the indomitable Shulmaster. So thank you so much to the 5 of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign, for bringing us this edition of the Daily Solve, and thank you to all patrons of the channel for their generous support as well in making this a sustainable activity for me. I do very much appreciate that. If you'd like to become a benefactor, you can get the Daily Solve Let's Check the Crosses mug, and if you become any sort of patron, you get access to all of the bonus videos that have gone up on the channel to date, as well as the new ones that go up each week. All of that can be found at patreon.com/dailysolve. There's a link in the description field underneath the video, where you can also find a link to the Daily Solve Discord chat server. Join that community and chat with others about these crosswords, the Wordle, other crosswords, crossword construction, and so on. And what else? Do subscribe to the channel if you've been enjoying these videos. We did pass 10,000 subscribers this week, which was great. So thank you to everybody who has contributed to that as well. And now let's get right on to the puzzle. This was constructed by Michael Dewey, who has constructed around half a dozen puzzles for the New York Times, and it was edited, as always, by Will Shortz. I can see some circled cells in the grid, so we're going to presumably be spelling out some words in a sort of meta-textual way. All right. TikTok's 3D musical eighth note, e.g. Is that TikTok's icon? I actually don't have TikTok, but I wonder if that's the icon it uses to launch the app, perhaps. My first thought was meme, actually. I was wondering, is this a meme on TikTok? But that doesn't seem, 3D musical eighth note doesn't really seem like it would be that. So I'm wondering if it's the icon. Okay, food cupboard. Oh no, this doesn't look right. A food cupboard could be a pantry. So what is this? What is this thing? I don't know. We'll have to come back to it. Wildly could be amok, maybe. You wildly ran amok. Not 100% certain, but let's keep looking. Payment lowering deal in brief. Okay. I don't think this is right. Maybe instead of food cupboard, this is larder. I'm sort of moving one step closer, I think, to the proper overall solution for this area of the grid, bit by bit. And if a food cupboard were a larder in this case, then a payment lowering deal in brief could be a refinancing of a loan, a mortgage, or something like that. Okay, so then what about this? Mark in the World Golf Hall of Fame. Well, improbably, I think I recognize this entirely from the crossword. Mark O'Meara, I think, is a famous golfer. Oh, so TikTok's musical eighth note is a logo. Okay, fair enough. I was on the right track with icon, but it's the logo. Okay, so maybe it's not actually, I mean, I guess it could still be the icon, but either way, it's the logo. Lose fizz. If a carbonated liquid to lose fizz, it will go flat. And a resident of the 46th state. Okay, I wouldn't have known 46th state off the top of my head, but it must be Oklahoma, and a resident of it would be an Okie. So there we go. One singer of 35 across on old TV and radio. So that's pointing directly to our revealer, which I am going to read because it was pointed to by that clue. Theme song of a classic Western, visually suggested 6 times in this puzzle's grid. Interesting. I mean, this looks like it could be spelling out elated as in happy. And what is this? Like Bonds and Bond films. Well, those are both rated. I mean, Bond films, like any other films, are rated, but Bond is just in there to match. Bonds, in this case, meaning the financial instrument. So rated, you'll have a A bond or a triple, double A rated bond, that kind of thing. Okay. What about this? Oh, that was what I was just looking at. Okay, let's go back up to the top. Peak temperatures. Peak temperatures. What is that? I don't know if this means mountain peaks or highest temperatures. I guess if it were simply the highest temperatures of the day. It could be highs. That's meteorologically often, you see today's high will be whatever. So, okay, launch could be, not sure. Old Mac app. Old Mac app. Wow, that seems arcane. What? Old Mac app. What is that? Oh, isn't Apple retiring iTunes maybe? Although that doesn't fit, so I don't think that's the answer. It also doesn't seem old enough to be old in the New York Times crossword. Watkins blank New York. Oh, funny. Watkins Glen is a racetrack? Yes, I think my dad has a picture from Watkins Glen. I've never been there, but I know of it. It's a car racetrack, I think. And actor Lucas of 2014's Dark Was the Night. I don't know. Don't think I recognize this film, presumably. Although I do sort of in the recesses of my mind. Is there an actor named Lucas Haas? Is that something? Uh, I can't picture who that would be, but let's check the crosses. Pomp and Circumstance. I don't know. Galas, maybe? I don't know. Part of PST. This looks like Pacific Standard Time to me. So standard could be STD. And Pomp and Circumstance. I mean, a claw? I don't really think of that as being... Pomp and Circumstance seems too grand for a claw to me, personally, but I could be wrong. Old map. Oh, maybe it is a claw, because old Mac app, is it iChat? I don't think I've ever used iChat, but that sounds like a thing that would have been an app on a Mac. Out in front. If you're out in front, you're ahead. Yeah, this does look like Haas, and this does look like a claw. Okay. I usually think of a claw as being more sort of verve or style, but I'm probably missing a sense of the word. So, okay, launch could be, to heave something, to throw it, to launch it. And Dale Evans, I guess, was a singer of this song, which we'll have to. So, elated, what does that mean? The shape, I'm presuming that the shape elated is taking here is going to somehow indicate something punnily about the song. Anyway, we'll get there eventually. To finish is to end up in a certain way, perhaps. Now let's go back to the crosses here. Low face. Low face. I don't know. Could be a cliff face or something with that pun question mark. The question mark acting as a pun indicator. Some kind of wordplay happening. Blank irregular basis. On an irregular basis, people often say. Lead into thesis or thermic. Antithesis or antithermic? Not sure. Roll for David Diggs on Blackish. Oh, I've seen this show, but not for years, and I can't remember names of the characters. I mean, I can picture David Diggs, the person, but yeah, I don't know. Brainstorming question. Any ideas, you might ask? And measures of determinant. Measures of detergent, maybe. Filling a washing machine could be a capful. So plural here, capfuls, often is how you'd measure out detergent liquid for a washing machine. Home of the Minotaur's Labyrinth. Home of the Minotaur's Labyrinth. Boy, if I was going to guess, I would have guessed Crete, I guess, but I guess obviously not. Or Minos, maybe? Is that Minotaur? I don't know. I'm obviously completely forgetting whatever that is. Low face. And lead into thesis or thermic. Okay, so hypothermic or hypothesis. There we go. Okay, these things can be tricky because often the shared prefix here, lead in, referring obviously to a prefix for the word, often it can be pronounced in a completely different way that makes it hard to sort of run through possibilities quickly in your head. So look out for that. Neglected youths. Naifs, maybe? Or waifs, possibly? I mean, yeah, kind of. When people talk about waifs, you sort of think of sort of abandoned street children, I guess. So maybe that's the answer. Let's check the down here. Punster could be a wit, maybe. Someone who puns a lot. Someone who makes a lot of crossword clues with question marks in them, maybe. Okay. Holy people, Hindus. So that's referring to the Hindu celebration, I think. And then, oh, Home of the Minotaur's Labyrinth. This is looking more familiar now that I see this. Is it Knossos or something? What is this? Low face. I don't know. This is going to be a tough set of crosses here, I think. That's not good. Well, what else can we solve? Don't Bring Me Down, Band in Brief. That's ELO, the Electric Light Orchestra. It's a song by ELO. None for me. Pass. I pass. I wouldn't like any. So yeah, okay. I think that's the answer here. But I don't... Low face, I feel. If I could get that, I could just move on from this whole area. I am pretty certain this is a K here. So what would a low face for the Minotaur's Labyrinth home, I mean? So what would that mean for low face? Oh, and I can look at this other clue here as well. Joyful. So we have elated, glad, joyful. There we go. So Johann and Jack. So a low face card, a face card of low value in a deck of playing cards. I see. Okay, that took me ages. Sorry about that. Let's keep going. Princeton Review subject. I don't know. Is that... I'm not sure. Is that... I'm sort of wondering randomly, is that the PSAT, the sort of practice SAT test that some high schoolers take in the U.S.? I don't know specifically what the Princeton Review is, but I'm sort of just guessing that's what it might be. Mrs. Blank, Beauty and the Beast character. Oh, Mrs. Potts, played by Angela Lansbury, I think. The sort of teapot character in the Disney adaptation of Beauty and the Beast. And then dressed with one end tied to the waist. A sari, I would think, is how that works. If you tore into somebody you had at them, perhaps. Not completely certain about that, but let's check the crosses. Greyhound's capacity, perhaps. Oh, a busload. Oh, that's busload. That's sort of a very similar word to capful in that we're adding a suffix onto a word to simply mean one of that noun's worth of whatever thing it contains. Okay, what else can we, what about this? Oh, this is the actual, oh, Happy Trails. Okay, there we go. Happy Trails. I've heard that song before. I don't know. I guess that must be the name of the Western as well. I wonder if it was written for the Western. I don't know. In any case, we're taking words meaning happy, and we're sort of trailing along with them. So we have elated, glad, joyful, and then we'll have three more over the course of the solve. So let's figure out what those are. Suburb of Boston. Ooh, not sure offhand. Did live in Boston for a couple of years, but I'm not sure offhand. Maybe I'll recognize it. This could be tear or tier. Could be split if it's tear, maybe. Not certain about that. Let's check the crosses. License. Let it. Maybe let something. I don't know. Not sure. I'm going to delete this. Okay, extreme amusement is happiness. That's not really extreme, and it doesn't fit anyway. Whatever, we'll come back to it. To sign up for something is to... Don't know. Photo blow up is an enlargement. It's often how that's abbreviated. Compulsions are tics, maybe? I don't really know if you'd call that a compulsion per se. Drink that may be served hot or iced. Well, tea is the most obvious example, but doesn't seem like the answer. Sake? I mean, it's not really iced per se. Coffee? Latte? Just trying to think of anything that fits the number of cells, which latte so far is the only one that does. What about this? Not guilty in court is a plea. Volunteer's offer is I'll go, maybe? That allows latte to work, so let's put that in and see. What may be broken at a party? A taboo, maybe, if it's a sort of a wild party? Covered in a way as a road, tarred the road. Contents of college blue books, right? So these are often associated, especially U.S. universities, with test taking. Blue books, you write an essay in them for the purpose of a test. Elvis has left the building, goes the famous phrase, and one singer of that song, we'll come back to that. Sorvino of Mighty Aphrodite. Mira Sorvino is an actor's name. Blank Ducey gambling game. AC Ducey. I don't actually know how to play that, but I've heard the phrase. Stark and Flanders for 2. Ned Flanders from The Simpsons. Ned Stark. Is that a Game of Thrones character? I think Stark people talk about in Game of Thrones, so I think that must be the case. Okay, what may be broken at a party? Oh, it wasn't taboo. Good thing I didn't write that in. What may be broken at a party? The ice, right. You break the ice in a conversation. And an FBI guy is a T-man, maybe? A Treasury... Or no, maybe it's G-man. Because T-men aren't FBI. So G-man, government man. Oh, Rogers. Roy Rogers? Was he the one singer of Happy Trails? Turn, Turn, Turn band with the... It's a great song. The Kinks. Oh, some... Oh, no, it's not the Kinks. It's the Byrds. Sorry, the Byrds. Turn, Turn, Turn. Yeah, a very different band. Load for Santa Claus could be a bag of toys. Pop up could be if something pops up, it arises. Wispy clouds. Are those cirrus clouds? And so the plural Siri. I think that might be the case. Let's check the crosses. Brand behind Cakester's Snack Cakes. Don't know. Cambodian cash. Cambodian real would be my guess. Is it A or E? What about this? Midwestern metropolis informally. Cincinnati? Or Chicago? I mean, CHI is certainly used for Chicago more than I think CIN is for Cincinnati. Words of resignation. Oh, I lose. So if you resign in, for instance, a game of chess or something, as opposed to resigning from a position at work. Okay, abides by. Heeds one's warning? So that would mean real with an E. And then, oh, Oreo, the brand behind Cakester Snack Cakes. All right, there we go. We've got an Oreo. It's actually been maybe a month since we've seen Oreo in the crossword. So there we go. One of the legendarily common New York Times crossword entries. Okay, so here we have cheery. We never looked over here. We have merry. So two more ways to communicate the concept of happiness. Oh, the state of happy. Okay, so lake at one end of Niagara River. Lake Ontario is one of the Great Lakes. So is that sign up for is go to or something? That's not right at all. Not sure. Extreme amusement. Oh, sort of similar to some of these. So I'm not sure. If something lost freshness, it's staled maybe. And if you set a scale to 0, sets to 0 as a scale, tears. So it's what you do to sort of normalize the weight of a container on a scale so that you can measure just what's inside the container. Okay, you called me. Yes. So this looks like jolly, this synonym for happy here. And some court performers are jesters in the kind of royal court of old. To sign up for is to join, right, okay. To license is to entitle somebody to do something, I see. And to speed, right. In a vehicle, for instance, you're tearing through a neighborhood, you're speeding through it. And suburb of Boston, I guess Lynn, that does sound familiar, actually. And compulsions are yens, right? So something you want, or I guess in this case are compelled to do. I have a yen, I have a compulsion. Lake at one end of the Niagara River. Oh, look at that, Erie. So that's nice. We have Erie and Ontario, identical clues. Lake at one end of the Niagara River are crossing one another. Okay, extreme amusement is hilarity. And Gibbons of Talk TV is, I don't know, Lisa spelled in an unusual manner? I'm not sure. Posh hotel chain. Oh, the Ritz. Oh, Lisa maybe. And then protein bean would be soya. Okay, that looks right. And there we go. All right, we've solved the Wednesday crossword, and we had 6 happy trails. And those happy trails were comprised of elated, glad, joyful, jolly, cheery, and merry. And that represents the song Happy Trails, sung, oh, I see, so right, sung by Dale Evans and Roy Rogers. And I actually don't even know if that was done in collaboration or as separate recordings. I am not sure. And like I said, I'm also not sure if the song was composed for the program, I guess, on which it featured, or if it were, I don't know, the other way around. Perhaps it was named for the song. I don't know. My guess would be it was composed for it, but I don't know. So there we have it. We have a nice, I suppose, actually, this theme, and this is often what happens in the transition from the Monday, Tuesday puzzles onto the Wednesday puzzles. This is one in which you would, I suppose you don't technically need to have understood the theme in order to solve the revealer, but it would help because I guess if you just knew that Happy Trails was the name of a theme song of a classic Western, you could ignore all the rest of this. But in my case, it was certainly helpful to combine the theme mechanic of spelling out synonyms for happy in these trails here. It was helpful to solve the whole puzzle with those in mind. And I completely forgot to do the thing that is often asked of me, which is to try. I could have gone ahead and tried to determine other happy synonyms myself and put them in the grid. Didn't even think to do that. Sorry about that. Maybe next time. Anyway, there we go. That was the Wednesday crossword. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know how you fared with this. And now we'll discuss, I think, possibly just a single clue from yesterday's puzzle, although I have one more extra correction. Perhaps I'll mention that first. So I managed to compound my Fonda error yesterday when I corrected my erroneous mention of Peter Fonda to Henry Fonda. I then mentioned Janet Fonda rather than Jane Fonda. That was just, I think, a completely innocent typo in the comment of the person who left that comment. And I remember at the time, as I was reading it, thinking her name is Jane Fonda. But then I just figured, well, Janet must be her full name or something like that. It must be, maybe Jane is just a nickname of Janet in this case, and I shouldn't second guess the commenter. So I just went ahead and read it, and then just signed myself up for another correction today. So I'm very sorry about that. Anyway, Jane Fonda, of course. Anyway, that was the puzzle 2 days ago. But in yesterday's puzzle, George Steele has a pithy summary of Occam's razor here as it's applied to scientific experimentation. Occam's razor states if two explanations explain the same science experiment, the one with the fewest assumptions is to be preferred. The simplest scientific explanation is accepted until it fails to explain a new experiment. And that makes perfect sense. I ended up reading a fair amount about Occam's razor yesterday, and I do think it's applied in quite a variety of situations, and we don't actually, I think, have the precise Occam's precise original wording of the principle, I suppose. So in general, I do think it's fair enough to describe it as really the way I think the second sentence here. Oops, I already moved on from the thing, but basically the simplest explanation should be accepted or at least preferred until proven otherwise. I think we can apply that to lots of things in life. And I think I maybe encountered, I don't know, it was probably not where I first encountered it, but I remember thinking about it much more reading Umberto Eco's The Name of the Rose, because it's sort of a medieval murder mystery kind of set in I think a Benedictine abbey, if I remember correctly. And the protagonist, William of Baskerville, his name William was named after William of Ockham. And I learned last night, actually, that Umberto Eco considered having William of Ockham himself be the lead character in The Name of the Rose because of the character's propensity for that kind of logical, rational, and actually in the book, very humane sort of thought. But then Eco determined that William of Ockham himself probably wasn't a sort of appealing enough person to cast in this role, so he invented a new character and named him William of Baskerville, nodding to both William of Ockham and to Sherlock Holmes via Hound of the Baskervilles. Anyway, all of this just to say, I think Occam's Razor is a pretty good and useful principle, and The Name of the Rose is an excellent book. So consider reading it if you've not. It's the book that put me on my full devouring of all of the fiction of Umberto Eco, who became one of my favorite authors. Anyway, that's a complete unnecessary digression today, but hope you'll be back tomorrow for the Thursday puzzle. Should have a nice, intricate, interesting theme, and hope you join me for that. But until then, please do have an excellent remainder of your Wednesday. Take care.